Okay, now we're going to up the ante with the Divi page builder tool. Now this is a plugin that costs money, and you can purchase it if you wish from Elegant Themes. I think it's worth the money, but that's up to you. If you prefer, you can use the free site origin page builder. I just want to show you some of the differences. So here I am, I'm on a Divi landing page. I basically copied the out-of-the-box landing page that we created in an earlier video. So you can see right here, this is basically using WordPress out of the box. It's nicely organized, it's not too bad, but there are some things like the call to action is kind of boring and so forth. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing I need to do is I need to activate the plugin. And again, you have to purchase this from Elegant Themes if you want to use it, because it is not available in the WordPress repository, unlike the site origin page builder. Now I've deactivated the page builder. I've already installed the Divi builder, so I'm going to activate it. And now it's activated. And let me close that tab, and let's go to all pages, and we'll go to the Divi landing page. And getting right here, you see this thing that says use the Divi builder. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Kind of like with the site origin before, when we used site origin before, it basically crams everything into this one text box. The interface though is a little bit different, so I'll show you how that works. The way that you get to each of these modules is by clicking this thing, and now you can see that everything is broken up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and break this up into separate modules so it's a little bit easier to navigate, and then we'll get started. Okay, so I've broken everything up so it's a little bit easier to navigate. And I'm going to click preview changes into a new tab so we can see how things look. And it's mostly the same. There's a couple of styling changes, but other than that, I think we're ready to go. Now normally the Divi builder works best with its own theme and with Elegant Themes, but I've discovered that you actually can use it for other themes as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is address the headline. In order to do that, I'm going to create a brand new, there are these different sections that you can add. You can add a standard section, full width section. I'm going to create a full width section and insert a full width header. And for this, I'm just going to put in some dummy text and some more dummy text for a subheading. This is where things get kind of fun. So I can set a background image for this. And if I click this little eye icon, I can go to a preview of the image. Now you can barely see what that says. But what's nice is buried in here, there is an option to change the text color to light. Okay, so that almost solves it. But there are some other options as well. Like I can center it. And right here, there's this thing called a background color overlay. So what this allows me to do is to select a color and have it overlay the background image. So right now I click purple and you see purple, you don't see the lavender anymore. But what I can do is I can drag this down so that the opacity decreases, and now you see you've got something like that. So let me change the headline so it's a little more, do something like stressed out, try essential oils for stress relief. Alright, let's preview of that, and we'll save and exit it. Now what I need to do is I need to drag this to the top without messing anything else up. Okay, there we go. I'll click preview changes, go to the next tab. Okay, so you can see now that this thing is up at the top. There's some other cool things you can do with this. If I go back over here, I can put a call to action right away. Something like buy now, and put in a URL. I also can have a parallax effect, which if I look at the preview, well, it's not going to work very well with the preview, but because I need to be able to scroll in order to see it. So see right there how it's giving you that parallax effect. So that's kind of neat. So that's something you can do right away. So right here we got this issue where the image has gotten messed up. I don't really like it. So I'm going to take care of that problem by creating a new row. Now, the purple and the blue, and then there's a red. The bars over here represent sections, okay, and these represent rows. So I'm going to create a brand new row. You have a little bit more flexibility, unlike the site origin widget, where it pretty much just gives you rows and nothing else. We drag that up to the top, and I can't remember what I was doing. Oh yeah, the solution. So let's move this down here. Let me create another row. Probably when I edit this, you can always skip ahead if I feel like I'm going on forever. Alright, so this paragraph looks fine. We won't address that. But this solution, I really don't like how this looks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this icon to change the structure. And so then I can change the way that the structure of the row is. So I want to have this image over to the right, and I'm going to click this at 2/3 and 1/3. And so you see what happened. The solution text is now over here. And so if I click preview change and go back to the preview page, I can see that the paragraph has been crunched over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the image over this new section. So here now we're going to see what the different modules are, and you can see there's quite a lot of them. There is a ton of them. And just to make things more fun, I'm going to use a gallery module, and let's add a couple more images to this. I can't remember which one. I think it was. I think I haven't added these yet. Okay, Okay, let's not select the lavender, and let's not select that either. Okay. We want to have the oils within the bottles. So I'm going to click Add to Gallery, and then I can add captions like oils, more oils, even more oils, yet even more oils. This might look ridiculous, but you'll see where we're going. Okay, so with some of these modules, you're just going to have to go back and forth and preview them. So that's what's handy about this little preview option. You can kind of see it right away. Here it's showing you what the gallery looks like. So this is kind of it's a paginated slider right now. And you can change that. You could change it to a grid if you wanted to. And you can see right there, it's showing a bunch of them stacked on top of each other. And you could, you know, if you don't want to show the title and the caption, you can remove those. It only shows up in the grid view. And what this would allow people to do is that they could click on it and see the image. Of course, it's going to give you this warning. It says link disabled. So I like the slider. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn automatic animation. And that's it for that. And then I'm going to go back to this text and get rid of this image. I don't need it there anymore. So I'll get rid of it. Now let's preview the changes. So there you got the parallax. So as you can see, the image is animating now. Now here's a handy thing that you can do is that you can duplicate or clone these sections. So for example, I like this thing right here, and I can actually duplicate it and place it in between these two modules. Now what I'm going to have to do is do a little bit of shuffling, so let me make a couple changes here. So I created a brand new standard section. Move that a bit. This might seem tedious, but eventually you get the hang of it. And then I'm going to go over here, cut that out, delete that whole section, go over here, how we know this works. And then so it doesn't look like it's repeating, I can change the image to something else. Like I can change it to that. That will work. I can even change the color. This is a cool little trick, is that you can click a different color and it will keep the same opacity. It won't mess it up to where you have to remember everything. Okay, click save and exit. Click preview. Go back to my page. So here we go. Let's scroll down, see how this works. Alright, well, I want to get rid of that call to action button. But you see what's going on. You got that nice little parallax effect. So let's go back. Let's get rid of that call to action button. And the way to do that is you just delete it. And then you can click preview to see how that looks. And there you go. Now we can get down to other things like scientific metrics. And I want to show you some of the modules you can use for metrics. And this is something that the Divi builder, I think, does very well. So I've created a new row, I'm going to move it up here. This is where the metrics is going to go. So if you wanted to use metrics, one would be the bar counter. And so you could type in some, I'm just going to type in some nonsense, put in 50, duplicate it 3 times. Again, we're just doing this really quickly so you can kind of see how all of these work. 75. All right, then preview that. So what the bar counter does is that it will show basically a bar chart. And that could be handy depending on your application. So let's have that in there. That's a cool little metric. The next metric that I recommend is the circle counter. So I need to put in some bogus something. We'll put in 80. Again, you can adjust some of these. You can adjust just about anything here. Preview it to see how that works. So here, the way this works is it basically shows a circle. It shows 80% of something, or nar voltulate or something. So that might be handy for whatever application you've got. The circle counter is all by itself, whereas the bar counter it has counters. Okay, then the next one would be the number counter. And put in some nonsense. Let's do 67. And take a look at what that looks like. So then what the number counter does is that it counts up to a specific number. Now the colors, the fonts, just about everything is completely customizable here. I think that's good for right now for the scientific metrics, so we're going to just use that. One thing I will do though, I'm going to create a new row. And what did this say? Okay, it said scientific metrics. So move that up there. That way we'll have the headline above this section. And then let's preview the changes and see how that looks. So now you can see the scientific metrics. See how this is looking a lot nicer depending on what you use. That's why I wanted to explain this really quickly. And again, my apologies that this is I've probably gone like a half an hour already, but just bear with me for a second. Okay, the next thing is testimonials. So let me create a brand new row for that. I'm going to make it 3 columns wide, and what's nice is you can always change it. You know, like I don't need 3 columns. Let's do 2 testimonials. Okay, so for testimonials, you just move down to testimonial. Bimmy Dragon, job title, punter. Double Dragon Incorporated. And for this, you can do a bunch of different things. I'm not going to fill out all of this right now. But it's pretty robust what you can do with this tool. That's why I think it's worth the money if you want to buy it. Otherwise, the site origin tool is pretty good as well. Okay, so there's the testimonials, and the way that it sets it up is it sets up the text and then the information, the person testifying afterwards. We'll click save, and then I'll duplicate this and move it over to the other side, make a couple of changes, and put that in for fun. AVDN. There we go. Keep me from getting sued or something. Okay, so just so you can tell the difference, let's put in another block of text. What's nice is that the preview, you notice how I'm not just previewing this testimonial module, I'm actually able to see everything in context. And that's because when you click the preview button, you are going to see this entire section. So that's a handy little thing. There are so many of these there's so many of these modules that I had to make notes of which ones I wanted to use, because otherwise I would get overwhelmed. Okay, so we've covered the scientific metrics, we've covered testimonials, we can now move on to explanations. And so then for the explanations, I think what works well is a blurb. So we can have a word up here for the title. Now what's cool about the blurbs is that you can use some built-in icons. You can also upload your own images, but in this case we're going to make it really quick, so I'm just going to grab like a cup of coffee. And you can, there's a bunch of other changes you can make that we're not going to get into. But you'll see really close, or you'll see really quickly that it's similar to one of the site origin. It's similar to the site origin feature widget. So there it is. You see, it's got the icon, it's got the title, and something else underneath it. So let me save that. Let me duplicate it. One handy thing you can do with these modules is that you can rename the modules so that they're a little bit easier to identify. And you do that by going all the way to the bottom, and you can change it to like coffee mug blurb. And then you'll see the change right there. Grab the scroll back up and preview it again. Alright, and you kind of get the point. So now I can go down to the explanations and get rid of that. Okay, the last one, just for the sake of time, I don't want to like take forever here. The last one is for the call to action. Just like the site origin, you've got two options. You got a button and you got a call to action module. So I'm going to show you what the button one looks like. So for this, we'll just put in a hash so it doesn't really go anywhere. And we'll do order now. Button alignment be the center. And then you can take a look at how that looks. So that's how that works. Then let's try out what the call to action module looks like. This would be this. Then for the title, you put in a title, so call to action title. We'll just put in a hash so it doesn't go anywhere. And then for the text, order now. And then for this, unlike the site origin widget, you can actually put in some text, and then you can see what it looks like. We'll scroll all the way to the bottom. So this is the button by itself. This is the call to action. And you can change the colors and so forth. I think that actually in this case, the call to action looks a little bit nicer. So that's the one I'm going to go with. And then I'm going to get rid of just the plain text button. So for the examples, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the accordion. We'll see how this works. So you'd add a title. We'll do example 1 and grab some dummy text. Stick it in there. Click save and duplicate it. Again, we're just trying to save some time so it's not spending forever here. And how about for fun, let's just do one more. Example 3, copy some Latin text, and let's copy 2 paragraphs. See how that works. There we go. Let's preview that. So here's how the accordions work, is that you can separate it like that. Okay, click in that, and then for, I'm just going to get rid of these other ones. So there we have taken a page and converted it using the Divi page builder. So let me update that. Close this and we'll view the page. So here's a landing page, and this is using a default WordPress theme. So here you start off with a headline, and then you've got a nice little image. You got another headline that's using that parallax effect. You've got some pretty cool metric widgets. You got some testimonials. You got some other things. I can't remember what these were. I think these are supposed to be examples. Or you could even have a process. You could have like an icon representing a process. You know, step 1, step 2, step 3. And then we have some examples. This is actually probably not the best interface for examples. Maybe this would work for like frequently asked questions or something like that. And then you got the call to action. So that is how you could build a landing page with the Divi page builder using an out-of-the-box WordPress template. Again, the Divi page builder, the Divi builder costs a little bit of money, but you might think it's worth it. If not, you can always go with the site origin page builder route. And if you want to avoid all the plugins altogether, you can always just use WordPress out of the box. Anyway, I hope these videos have been helpful. And you can subscribe to my newsletter, get more videos, tutorials like this at AaronTweeten.com. Thanks for watching.